Hello, my name is Margaret Planton with the League of Women Voters in Ross County and Chillicothe. I am welcoming David Glass, the candidate for Ross County Commissioner. David, we're asking you first to introduce yourself, about why you're running for this position and what brought you here today.
Well, thank you, Margaret, and thank you for the opportunity to share a bit about myself. I think it'd be valuable to tell you a little bit about myself and who I am. I've spent almost my entire life in Ross County. I have 4 children at home, 4 young children at home. My oldest is 6. I care very deeply about this community, and I care greatly about there being opportunities for the next generation and beyond that. The sense of community that I have and a concern for it is why I'm in this race and why I'm running for county commissioner. I'm the only candidate in the race who is a part of my generation, and I think having representation across generations provides a unique perspective in county leadership and county government. But despite my young age and young face, I have very applicable experience for the job, and I'd love to share more about that as well.
One question that is often asked is, what are the major responsibilities of the job you are running for? So many voters don't necessarily understand what each position does. Sure. Can you address that?
Yes. The County Board of Commissioners is the administrative body, the executive administrative body for every county government in the state of Ohio. One county commissioner has no ability to do anything by themselves. It's the Board of Commissioners that lead and make decisions within county government. Statutorily, the role is to set the budget, to make sure the county follows the law in terms of what a county is mandated by the state to provide in terms of service and all of those things. What's also interesting about the role of county commissioner is the non-statutory role of leadership. A county board of commissioners is responsible for setting the priorities when it comes to things like economic development, when it comes to addressing challenges or preparing for opportunities within their particular community. And so that's really what the county commissioners do. There's 3 county commissioners, and together they vote on policy for the county.
Okay, thank you. If you are elected, what will be your major priorities?
I want to make sure that there's opportunities for employment and investment for the community. But to do that requires an emphasis on planning and preparation. It's discussions around things like land use. I think one of my biggest priorities to that end is better collaboration across jurisdictions so that we can really work together to solve problems and achieve success in the opportunities that come our way, whether that is being an advocate for our community to the state and federal government, or from a leadership position, the commissioners being good collaborators and partners to local jurisdictions, municipalities, townships, school districts, and of course our great network of nonprofit and groups and folks who are diving into the issues that we face here in Ross County.
Okay. What do you see as the major challenges at this time?
There's a lot of challenges that I think are have been present and exacerbated over time, over generations, that we need to have a good discussion and work together to address things like opioid abuse disorder, workforce development. All of those things are, I think, in the here and now of issues that we face. Preparing for growth, preparing for future development, harnessing the opportunities that exist within Chillicothe and Ross County, and continue that success.
Why should voters support you?
I think I have a great combination of experience and perspective. And my background's in economic development. I've served in roles at the state level working for the Department of Economic Development. I've served 17 different counties across southern and central Ohio, working with community stakeholders, economic development directors, elected officials, business leaders, and I've really learned through that experience how communities who are successful and achieve their goals collaborate and work together to solve and address their problems. I oversee an annual, or a department that has an annual revenue of $90 million, and I'm responsible for all the economic development within our service territory, which spans across 24 counties of southern and central Ohio.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Cochran. I'm a member of the Ross County League of Women Voters, and I'm here today with candidate for Ross County Commissioner, Mark Hirsch. Thanks for joining us today. And let's get started with having you tell us a little bit about your background and what you bring to this position, and you know, some of the experiences that you bring.
Sure. My name is Mark Hirsch. I'm a lifelong resident of Cider Township. I grew up here in Masseyville, went to Masseyville School. 62 years old. I just recently retired from the paper mill. From 1981, 1985, I was in the Marine Corps, and then I got out, went to work as a laborer. It was a rough time. So I was lucky enough to land a job as a laborer. Eventually I worked my way up into the instrumentation and controls group with the construction company I was with, and applied my skills I learned in the service. Like I said, I got into instrumentation and controls, and then traveled up and down the East Coast, changed jobs. I went to work for a fellow by the name of Daryl Timmons. Sent me to Chilpeco. Supposed to be in June of '85. I was supposed to be there for 12 weeks. Never left. And after 35 years here, I just retired in June.
And maybe you can tell us now a little bit about what are your driving motivations for seeking this office.
Back in January, my wife came home and she says, the Democrats do not have anyone to run for county commissioner. I was like, I can't believe that. We need to have a choice. And I thought for a moment, I said, that's kind of like what I do. That's kind of like my job right now. And I said, I could probably do that. Tell them I'll do it. So it was 4 days before the filing deadline. We got all of our stuff in. And the commissioners are the taxing authority. They do all the procurement, purchasing. They hold title to all the property in the county. But the main thing is one of the main things they are is they're a booster. It's they're a booster for the county, and what's the best thing for the county, and you have to listen to all your constituents, all your elected officials, where they're at, all of the all the other people on the issues that are facing the community, so that we can improve the county. So
if you're elected to county commissioner, what would be your major priorities for this upcoming term?
Right off the bat here, we have a $36 million general fund budget for next year out of $175 million, something in there, overall budget for the county. And out of that $36 million, we have the 104 sewer project, which is about $18.1 million. So half of that's is spent and is gone right now. So that leaves us with the other 18. And there's about 7 other projects. We have to do something. You have to take care of your physical plant and all of your property. So we have improvements we need to do at the jail, the courthouse, the county service center.
When you consider those priorities, are there obstacles or challenges that you see that need to be dealt with in order to achieve those priorities?
I guess the biggest one that I see is I would like to see us get another shift or flight, not a shift, but another round of road deputies. I think we have 2 right now. I think having that or working towards some way to reduce the response time for sheriff's calls is kind of one of the big things that I'd like to see us work on. And as we kind of wrap things up, can you give us sort of your elevator speech of why voters should vote for you? Sure. As a young man, I served my country, and now as an old man with a lifetime of experience, I would like the opportunity to serve my community. I retired after 30 years at the paper mill. In that time, I was in maintenance. I did every maintenance supervision role there was except superintendent. The other part is that I was the maintenance operations coordinator. The part of the budget for utilities, pulp mill, and woodyard that I was responsible for keeping track of was about $37 million a year. That's right in about what we have for the general fund. And finally, I am retired, and my children are fully grown, and I have all the time I need to perform this job as county commissioner.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's been my pleasure.
I'm Bart Henshaw with Ross County League of Women Voters, and this interview is with Arthur Batty, who is running to be representative of the 92nd Congressional District, our House of Representatives. Arthur, thanks for coming. We appreciate this.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
This is an opportunity for people to learn a little bit more about you. And so let's start with just some background. Can you tell folks something about you, who you are?
Well, I've lived in Chillicothe all my life, so I know the community. I've faced the same challenges that people here have, so I'm in touch with that. I'm retired from the VA Medical Center. I worked as a social work service aide, helping to permanently house the homeless veterans. My devotion to public service has been the driving force of my life. All my career choices have been based around service. And I think it's time for a fresh perspective, one grounded on common sense and practicality.
And see, well, thank you. And so a lot of people don't know what a representative does. They see some recordings of things that happen in the House of Representatives.
Yes.
What are the major jobs of a representative?
So my job is to take your concerns to the State House, make sure that they are heard, and I can promise that my politics will be left at the door of the State House when I go into work. I may pick them up on the way out, but my job in the State House is as a representative only.
Thank you very much. If you were elected to this position, is there a certain priority that you would like to, something you'd like to work on, something that is especially important to you?
First, I guess preserving our system of government is most important. And the hardships of poverty in our district is overwhelming. And a lot of our problems stem from just that, the need for affordable housing, the need for SNAP program, the need for social safety nets, things that may be disappearing, that we can't let that happen. I worry about the enormous wealth gap has a lot to do with that, the unfairness of that. And also my dedication to the Veterans Affairs, of course, is unquestionable. I work with them still, even though I'm retired.
And this is a hard one to answer if you haven't been in the job, but if you're in that position, are there any major challenges that you can see that you might have to overcome, even something maybe unexpected? What major challenges do you think there might be ahead if you were elected as representative?
I think some of the things that I've already mentioned.
Okay. And I agree that a lot of the things in your priorities are challenges also.
They are the challenges, and I understand these challenges because I've been through these challenges. I want to see myself as a negotiator because I remind myself that in every situation, there are three sides to everything. There is your side. Mm-hmm. And there is my side. Mm-hmm. And then there is our side.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And our side is my focus.
I see.
That's where my focus will be, on the us.
Very good. And that may, in some ways, answer the last question, which is, I think we put this in here, so your elevator speech. If you were saying to somebody, why should they vote for you? And maybe you've just said that, but what would be your answer? Why should I vote for you or someone vote for you?
Because exactly of some of the things I've just said. This is my goal. This is my goal to represent. When I applied for this job at the Board of Elections, that job title said state representative. It said nothing else. My only job is to represent. It is not to take my personal views, opinions, religion. It's not my place to do that. It is my place to leave those politics at the door, go into the State House, do my job to represent you and to be your voice, because we can't all fit in that rotunda.
Correct.
So this is my goal. I promise you that is how it will be done. That is how I will work for you when I'm in the State House.
Arthur Batty, candidate for representative of the 92nd District, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Cochran. I'm a member of the Ross County League of Women Voters, and today I am here with Mark Johnson, who is a candidate for the 92nd Congressional District in the state of Ohio. So thank you for joining us today, and
Well, you're welcome, Jennifer.
let's get started by having you share some of your background
Okay.
and the skills that you bring to this position and what makes you qualified for this.
Okay, I'll be quite frank. I come much different than most of my colleagues. Up there in Ohio House, we have about 1/3 attorneys, 1/3 come from owning a business of some sort, or community organizations, public service, real estate agents, car salesmen, that type of thing. I spent my life in construction, and I have life skills that few others have those same skills as I have. I bring a different perspective. So I've been in the House for 4 years. I've served 2 terms, and I'm the chairman of the Ohio Commerce and Labor Committee. But when I first went there, roped up through the ranks of the construction industry, I think I'm the only one that actually works in the Rife building that actually worked there building the Rife building. But with that, there's a lot of state contracts in construction, and it's a big time deal. Ohio is so diverse, and there's so many issues up there to address. Education, rehabilitation, disabilities, you name it, there's an issue out there. What we do is try to make things work for everybody and be the voice for communities like MacArthur, Ohio, and Benton County. I've been very blessed in my life. The good Lord has blessed me with many, many blessings and virtues, and one of those is my wife, Kelly. If I didn't have my wife, Kelly, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. I want to hear what you have to say, and my office has been open. I've not ever turned anybody away from a meeting with me.
Well, as you mentioned, wanting to serve your community, can you talk a little bit more about what are your primary reasons or motivations for wanting to serve?
We've been successful in getting a lot of Appalachian grants. My House district got more funding than any other House district. I've always been an advocate for those without. I tell you, one issue that's really been on my mind is Jobs Ohio. And I believe in Jobs Ohio. Do not get me wrong, but since their inception, Benton County has received $0. Now, that doesn't set too well with me, and I also have Hocking County, and I have Hocking Hill State Park. We have 6,000 visitors on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We rival the Grand Canyon in visitors there. It's a commercialized, and with that raises property values up. So we need to address homestead exemption in the property tax, and that's another issue that we need to work on.
How would you explain the job or the role of state representative?
Our number one job we are lawmakers, and we do revise the Ohio Revised Code. When we go in session, we vote on whether to to change this or that, and it all comes through the committee process. And I'm also the representative for 4 counties. So if somebody has an issue with unemployment, workers' comp, anything that has to do with ODOT, ODNR, you name the entity, they generally pick up the phone and call my office.
So if reelected this fall, what would be your major priorities for the coming term?
Funding is a key to everything, but try to find solutions for Cooks Hill Road. And I've not forgot about that in this Appalachian Funds, which was great. We couldn't use any of that for transportation needs. So I've been working with the federal government also and looking for different ways to fund that. How do we bring wealth to a community like Vinton County? And how can we create a tax base?
My last question is why voters should elect you to this office?
Well, I think you've witnessed a little bit of my passion. Seldom do you hear me criticize anyone. I will point out needs. And you can't point fingers at anybody for the way things are and expect significant change. I think I've always been positive. I've got a multitude of support, and I believe that I serve very respectful to our community. I'm involved in our community. Half of the county's got my cell phone. If you come to an event in Chillicothe, you're most likely going to find myself and my wife. My wife is my greatest asset, and we truly care about not only the community of Chillicothe and Ross County, but we also care about MacArthur. We care about Hamden and small communities like Zaleski. And so I just ask that the voters continue to send me up there, and I will continue to serve people to the best of my ability, and I would appreciate it if you could see fit to send me back.
Well, I appreciate you coming in to talk with us today and contributing to our efforts to inform the local voters, and I appreciate your service.
I've enjoyed this, so thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the services you guys provide.
My name is Bart Henshaw with League of Women Voters, and I have the pleasure this evening to be with George Lavender, who is running for Sheriff of Ross County. And thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you for having me.
First of all, let's just give the people listening to this a little bit of an idea of your background. So tell us about yourself.
You know, I always wanted to be in law enforcement, and my dad at that point didn't want me to, but you know, it's been a rewarding career. I'm on my 48th year of service to the Ross County community as law enforcement officer. The last 15 and a half years as sheriff. I've done all things through the office. I was, as a major, I was commander of the emergency response tactical team and water rescue and recovery team. I also was one of the first canine handlers that the sheriff's office had. So I run the whole spectrum of the sheriff's office, and you know, especially as sheriff, you learn a lot with budgeting and everything. It's been quite a challenge, but I think we've done really well.
Well, and along that line, a lot of people don't know what a sheriff does. You've covered some of the things that you have done, but what basically is the responsibility of a sheriff?
You know, by the first and most important thing is for the safety and welfare of the community. You know, our people that live in our community, we want to keep them safe. You know, especially in today's times, there's a lot of gun violence out there, and you know, that's our top priority, is keeping this community safe. But we have such things that we have to handle court security for the common police court. We have to do civil paper service from the courts. You know, we have to go out and serve subpoenas, warrants, and that kind of stuff. And one of the major things is run the county jail. You know, we have a 120-bed facility jail, but at times we have up to 158 people, you know, which challenges the resources here. Our jail was built, you know, over 20, 30 years ago. And, you know, it's kind of outdated. We just did a major remodel, but we got to keep them inmates safe. So, you know, that's an awesome responsibility. But when I got elected, we brought in a food service to help offset that, and a medical service.
And that may lead to what would be one of your priorities if you're reelected.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we got to continue to house the inmates. You know, with all the drug issues going on. A lot of these people in our jail, we really have to watch them because their health is major issues that we have to keep a handle on. I think since we got to the point that we lobbied through the commissioners and got 24-hour nursing protection, in our jail, nurse staffing, and that's really helped us to be able to meet the needs of these prisoners that has the health issues and watch over them. Another thing's training. We want to keep our people trained. When we send somebody out to a call, I want them to be the best person that can ever go out and assist the public on their needs at that time.
Right. What are some of the challenges?
Challenges is I have a $15 million budget, and when you look at that's the biggest budget of the county by far when you look at the revenue, but it's also keeping people, with all this stuff that's going on in our big cities with defunded police and stuff like that. A lot of people don't want to commit to an occupation that's going to be 32 years commitment. And if you do your job and arrest somebody and have to put your hands on them, then at times they want to try to get you convicted of stuff. So, right now the hiring pool is low. Hopefully this profession will turn back around and people will see the good that it's doing. And, right now we're going to have to pay the wages to keep the people. We're going to have to train people in-house and put them out on the road because they have to be certified. So it's going to really be, the challenge is going to be training, maintaining, and retaining people.
Right. So last of all, why should someone vote for you?
I again allude to my experience. 48 years experience at any job is tremendous. And when you get to the top position of your job, that's what I strive to do. And I think that we made great strides in the community to make this a better office. I still want to accomplish some things that has not been accomplished. Eventually down the road, I'd like to see a new jail. I'd like to see a jail where we can make income for the county off of housing prisoners, because jail space is a premium. I mean, if you have jail space, people are paying to have people come to your jail. I know some of our surrounding county jails, sheriffs are traveling 8 hours one way to take prisoners to get them locked up and then travel them back 8 hours to court. So I want to look at some things there that we could bring some revenue in, but also make our jail safer and more inmate friendly in the things that we have that we can offer them.
Sheriff Lavender, thank you very much for joining us. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Margaret Planton with the Ross County League of Women Voters, and we are interviewing candidates this afternoon. With me at the moment is Isaac Ober, a candidate for Ross County Sheriff. So I'm asking him to give us a little bit of background about why he's running for this office to share with the audience.
A little bit of background about me and everything. I'm a lifelong resident of Ross County. So grew up here, kind of a troubled childhood from the get-go. So I guess that's kind of a little bit about me and my childhood. As far as that, I've been a junior deputy. I've been a supervisor in the police world. Did my time in the Marine Corps. I've been a task force officer. I've also trained all the new staff for multiple departments and everything like that. So that's what led me to here today and my brief overview of qualifications.
Mm-hmm. What are the major responsibilities of this job that you are seeking? We ask that because many viewers don't know the details about the jobs.
Absolutely. Well, the job of sheriff is definitely complicated. It's not an easy one, and it's a job where the public expects you to be 100% correct all the time. That obviously is not obtainable, and it's really not achievable because everyone's human and mistakes are made. What we can do is set a standard and expect that these things be met and that we do a good job when we're out there and everything. So that would be providing security for the courts, transportation of prisoners, jailing inmates, responding to various calls across the county, would be the primary responsibilities of the sheriff.
Okay. If you were elected, what would your major priorities be?
Quite a few. The jail is a
big issue that I've talked about a lot. It's something that I feel very passionate about. It's been failing state jail inspections since 2008. I didn't go much past 2008, but from every year from 2008 until today, Ross County Jail has failed a jail inspection. Unfortunately, the response for calls for service, both from a time management as well as how they're handled, is something that I would like to see changed. I would like to see more open communication with the public, something like a Citizens Academy, Community Watch coming back. That way people are able to come and actually talk to the sheriff's office, have a direct line of communication, and we're able to be more embedded in the community, which I think is definitely a big thing.
Okay. Well, what do you see as the most strong challenge? I mean, just really major challenge facing the Sheriff's Department?
I think that there's certainly a lot of challenges that are going to be from overturning, unfortunately, decades of some path and some ways that we've done things, and it isn't going to happen overnight. But it takes getting out, talking to community leaders, learning about issues, because I don't know it all, never claimed to, but there's a lot of people that know a lot more than me. So getting out, talking to those people, and getting everyone involved back into a community realm, I think will be the most challenging, but by far the most rewarding.
Okay. Why should voters support you?
I think that the voters should support whoever they see as a better candidate for the office. So not a popularity contest, not a who you know through something else, just simply what is going to produce the best results for the county. And that goes across not my position, but everyone's in every elected position that's going out there. I hope that that's something that people take away. And, I hope that people also support themselves and they start engaging in that local government, going out, learning things about it, and, realize that people like yourself and, well, now me can run for these offices. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's important, and I hope that that's the primary takeaway. But I do hope that they vote for whoever they think is best for the position.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bart Henshaw, League of Women Voters, Ross County, and today we are interviewing Kathy Dunn, who is a candidate for Recorder of Ross County. And Kathy, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
First, we'll start just with some background. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a graduate of Shawnee State College with an associate in electromechanical engineering, of all things. When I graduated from college, I got out. I worked during that time for a small business in Chillicothe, an owner who had two different businesses, a wholesale electronics stores and Tri-County Vending, which was a music and games business. And when I graduated from college, I chose to stay there, and I became the general manager of it. I sold real estate part-time during that period of time, and I also filled a vacancy in the Chillicothe City Treasurer's office when the treasurer died. I ran 3 times for that job and spent a little over 10 years there. Then in 1996, I ran for county recorder. And in 1997, I took office. And I am currently finishing my 7th term there and running for my 8th term.
Thank you very much. Not everybody knows what a recorder does, and I know it's hard to explain in a brief amount of time. But what does a recorder do?
A recorder has to enforce over 1,000 state laws regarding legal documents. We file, review, and record documents that are required under the law. Most of them probably deal with real estate or do deal with real estate, but we have all types of documents that go through the office. It might be restrictions on property, subdivision regulations, boundary line and fence line, records, power of attorney, a living will. But you can look at it sort of like a history of all the land in Ross County. I like to look at it sort of like a family tree because each parcel of land started out in a much larger piece as they were moving toward the west, and this was the Northwest Territory Land Office long before it was a state or a city. The records are forever records. They never go away. They are permanent, and they have to be archived, and they have to be indexed in a way that people can search them. But there's a multitude of documents that are there. They are public records. They have to be open for view on regular hours. I was the third county in the state of Ohio to actually offer an internet website for our records, one of the earliest e-recording offices in the state. We ran out of room a long time ago, so I have books that are stacked to the ceiling that we really can't let go of, because even if they're backscanned like most of them are, they're just so full of history, and people like to touch them.
That's interesting. And so you've given us a lot of what is going on, and so maybe in that, what your priorities are in maintaining all of that. But is there any one in particular priority, if you're reelected, that you would like to see happen?
Yes, I got 2 grants one during COVID to backscan all of the deeds and plats and right-of-way and highway easements all the way back to the 1700s. I used that grant to get those digitized, because those books are getting more fragile every year. Even though you try to restore them, it's difficult when you have people handling them all the time. It was a $411,000 grant that I got from the CARES Act to digitize the records. In 2021, we had the American Recovery Act. I applied for and got a grant for $450,000 to index all those records, which is a massive undertaking. That's an ongoing project, and that's one that I figured would take about 3.5 to 4 years to do, and plan for that.
That sounds great. All right, so tell us, why should someone vote for you?
I have the experience that we need to continue to have clean, good records for the future, taking care of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The technology is there, the knowledge is there, the interest is there. There are more and more people who are interested in coming here and looking up records that were their family records, as well as everything else. A lot of people who came here kept on moving across the country, and they like to come back and look at the records and find their family members and where they lived, or perhaps the cemetery that they were buried in. I want to continue to put more and more of those records together so the public can enjoy them and use them for their needs.
Very much. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bart Henshaw with Chillicothe Ross League of Women Voters, and I am here today with Anthony Majormmer, but you go by Major, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
But for those of you who are going to be voting in November, Majormmer is running for Ross County Recorder, and I think that on the ballot it will be Anthony Majormmer, is that correct?
That is correct.
The whole thing will be there.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We are doing these interviews to give the public information about those candidates who are in contested races in Ross County. And you running for recorder, what is the background that you have that brings you to this?
My name's Anthony Majormmer, and I've always went by Major, and grew up in Ross County. Left and went into the military I served in the United States Navy for 7 years. While I was in the Navy, I met my wife, Sue Ann Moffmer. She's an Air Force veteran, and so she's the love of my life, and I met her and married her at my last duty station. So I graduated from Paint Valley, a local county school here. And just way things have worked out has brought me all the way back around, back to Ross County. I worked in Columbus for a company in North Carolina and Columbus for one company called MCI, and the other one was called Quest Communications. And I worked in IT, but found that I was working so many hours that my family needed to come first. So I left that job and became a part owner with my mother, Bonnie Moffmer, in our small business, which is we own 2 early learning centers, and so we teach children from a very young age. We have preschool. The business has been around for 31 years. Play and Learn started in '91, and then Kids Clubhouse we started in 2008. Just with my experience and just decided that, you know what, I want to run, I want to make a difference. I've always felt like that you want to see change, you got to be the change. So
Absolutely. Thank you. And, not everybody understands what a recorder does. What are some of the tasks of a recorder?
the recorder is going to record mortgage liens. So they record all your land property in Ross County. Then they will make sure to protect that. They will make sure to get that information onto data transfer to be able to, for people to be able to go in and pull their files, be able to see that information. Not only do they record all that information, they record power of attorneys, there's other court documents, but they'll also, one thing that is very valuable, they record veteran documents. So, and which is not really well known for veterans, that they can take their documents like DD 214s and record them at the recorder's office.
So if you were elected, what would be a priority, any one priority particularly that you would have if you were elected?
One priority I would have would be make a change in the technology to help the ease of access for documents. If we get the technology up to speed and the customers have access to get to these documents, it helps out in a couple ways. One, it helps to not be able to bother the ones that are the employees that would be working to input all these documents. The other thing I would say is that when I alluded to about veteran documents, I feel like that there does need to be more put out there in regards to the recorder's office to say, hey, this is what we do, this is what we have to offer, and not a lot of people in the county knows what they do or what they can offer.
So finally, why should people vote for you?
My background in business and my IT, and what I want to look to do. I have an IT background. My business helps afford me I've had a lot of experience in financials and, with my job. So we've had to run the business, had to do all the financials, all the accounting. So I'm very familiar with that. We have about 40 some employees. So I've been very experienced in managing employees. My military experience brings a strong work ethic along to the business of county recorder, and being that I've worked in government in the military. And lastly, but not leastly, the most important is my love for Jesus. And I feel like that, Jesus helps me to see people as who they are, not who other people want me to see them as. We want to treat everybody with respect, no matter in our jobs, in the community. It's very valuable. I am first and foremost my faith, then my family, and I include the community in that, conservative, then Republican.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for coming today. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Bart.
Welcome. I am Margaret Planton with the Ross County League of Women Voters. We are here interviewing the candidates running this year. With me this evening is James Udi Lowe, the candidate for Ross County Commissioner. I'm saying this slowly because James is not what we are used to calling him, but that is the name that will be on the ballot. So, Udi, I am asking you first to give us an introduction of yourself for the audience, a little bit about your qualifications.
My name is James Lowe. Everybody calls me Udi. 67 years old, born and raised in Ross County. I was graduated from Medina School. After graduation, I went to the United States Army, stayed in the Army for 6 years. After leaving the Army, I applied for different agencies and got hired at the Chillicothe Police Department. Stayed at the Chillicothe Police Department for 28 years. Retired from there. I took the position of being the school safety officer for all the county schools. Was approached by Republican Party to run for county commissioner, and I ran for county commissioner, and I'm on my hope to running for the second term.
Okay, thank you. What are the major responsibilities of this job? Because many voters don't know that clearly.
The county commissioners hold all titles to all the property that's owned by the county. We are the sole authority on the taxes, and we approve or make a recommendation for all the purchases within the city and within the county. We do not do snow removal on the roadway. That's county engineer. We do not fix people's roads. We don't tell the sheriff what to do. We don't tell the county engineer what to do. They are all elected officials, and so
You're the clearinghouse.
we're the clearinghouse more than
that
that.
would.
Yes.
Okay. If you are re-elected, what are your major priorities?
Right now, we are working on $14 million plus State Route 104 sewer line. We're going to run it from Union Heights into down 104 and tie into the prison system sewer plant. We have a $2+ million renovation of the Ross County Airport. We are in the process of doing a renovation of the Ross County Courthouse, the LNCB Bank, which is owned by the county, and also the old Ross County Jail. We're in the process of doing about $1.5 million project of putting metal walls inside of the Ross County Jail to stop the inmates from digging out, going through the cinder block. We got designations for the World Heritage since I was there, even though I came at the end of it. We are also working on the Appalachian Grant, community grant money that the city got. The county commissioners are in charge of, I think it's approximately 18 different counties to where the grant money's supposed to go. So
From here?
from here, not only for Ross County, but also the other different counties that came in with us as a project. Working with the city to do their Appalachian Community Grant money, make sure that it's ran right and where it's supposed to be taken care of. We are in the process of doing some remodeling out to the Chillicothe Paint Stadium, out to the VA. A lot of people don't know that the VA stadium is leased to the county commissioners for the Chillicothe Paints. So we are in charge of maintenance at the VA stadium.
What do you see as the major challenges?
The major challenges, in my opinion, is money. Everybody has that problem with the money. Other major problems, major challenges is bringing more infrastructure to Ross County and trying to work with Columbia Gas to put a bigger gas line in there. That's the only infrastructure we do not have right now to bring business in. Talking to the company, they're saying that if you have an industry that wants to come in, let them build and then we'll put the gas line. And then you have industry says, we're not going to build here because you have no gas line. So you're going to have the chicken or the egg. Which one comes first? So,
why should voters support you?
My first 4 years, I think I did in my opinion, I think I did a good job. If somebody told me I did something wrong, I'd take a look at it and I'll tell you that I did something wrong. As a commissioners, we are trying to get things done. I'm just asking for people for their vote. I am things that I want to do in Ross County that we need to do, and I think that I can work together with the other two commissioners that will be there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jennifer Cochran. I'm a member of the Ross County League of Women Voters, and today I am here with Welcome Stokeyan, who is a candidate for Ross County Commissioner. Welcome, thanks for joining us today. And we're going to get started with asking you to tell us a little bit about your background and your experience as it pertains to the position that you're seeking.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Like you said, I'm running for Ross County Commissioner, and my name is Welcome Stokeyan. I've lived in Ross County for most of my life. I lived and worked here since I was 15 and a half years old. After working and raising a family here, I went back to school for business, and while I was there, I earned a marketing certificate. And so I've really enjoyed making programs for homeschool families and working with caregivers and their children to create an inclusive environment.
Thank you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what is the driving force for you to seek the position of Ross County Commissioner, and what motivates you to seek that position?
I decided I wanted to go out and be the change that I'd like to see in the world. I think that it's important that we have responsible financial management and fresh perspectives, and I felt like after living and working here so long that I really had those things too, and I wanted to offer those skills to the people of Ross County.
Some folks might not have a full understanding of what county commissioners do on a day-to-day basis. So can you give us, in your words, a description of the job of county commissioner?
The role of county commissioner is vital to the health and success of the community. They oversee infrastructure, budgets, and making sure that our current establishments are maintained and improved.
So if you are elected to the position of Ross County Commissioners, what would be your top priorities for the upcoming term?
I've been able to focus my campaign on the three things that I would like to bring most to the county commissioner's office if I was elected. The first one is I want to ensure that we have responsible financial management. Every tax dollar should have a job to do, and it should be allocated wisely. I also know that strong families make for strong communities, and so ensuring that we have services for our children, our working folks, and the seniors is something that is important to focus our attention on. And thirdly, improving local infrastructure from utilities to public services and roadways. It's important to focus on those things as well.
So with those three priorities in mind, what obstacles or challenges do you see as being a hindrance to accomplishing your priorities?
One of the biggest challenges is to maintain financial stability in uncertain economic times. There is a rising cost to maintain our infrastructure and to improve it, and so that could potentially be a challenge. And then again, another thing more locally that I think presents a challenge and would need to be managed wisely is the ongoing issue with the restoration of the Ross County Jail. That would need to be handled without placing an undue tax burden on the families that live and work here and pay those taxes. So those are some things that would potentially face a challenge, but I'm ready to take those on and do my best with them.
So as we wrap up here today, can you give us your elevator speech or your pitch for why the voters should vote for you for Ross County Commissioner?
I think that I make a good candidate because I bring a combination of a fresh perspective as well as years of experience of business, creating community programs, and I'm also a mother of two, so I've raised a family here, and so I have a unique perspective on that. And I'm ready to use all of the skills that I've learned over the years for the people of Ross County. Together we can create a strong place that people will want to work and live and raise their families. And it's very important that our young people don't feel like they need to leave to find opportunity, to make Ross County the place where people want to come to for opportunity. And so we have a lot to do, and I'm ready to do it.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I am Margaret Planton with the Ross County League of Women Voters. The first candidate coming to speak with us is Bob Peterson, the District 91 representative. So welcome, Bob.
Good to be with you. Thank you so much for doing this, to the recording studio and to the League of Women Voters. This is a nice addition to the campaign.
Well, thank you. The first thing we are really looking for is for you to give a little bit of your background and about your experience that brought you to be an elected official.
I'm a farmer. I live up in Fayette County, lived my whole life there. In fact, our son has just come back to the farming operation. He's the 9th generation of Petersons to farm in the United States. You know, I ran for county commissioner years ago in Fayette County and served several terms there. And I ran because I wanted to make sure that my children, who were young at the time, had an opportunity to live, work, and grow up and live their future in Ohio. I ran for the legislature in 2010, had the honor of representing Ross County and several other counties at that time. And since 2010, I've served in the Ohio legislature, running for re-election. I've served in both the House now and the Senate previously. And you know, it's hard to imagine now, as Ohio is really the place to be right now with the economy booming, but that was not the case in 2010 when I ran.
Yeah, okay. What are the major responsibilities of your job? Because many voters do not really know that very clearly.
Yeah, so as a state representative or as a state senator, your job is just what you learn in government class, you know, introduce bills, pass a bill, and I've had the opportunity to do that. The larger parts of the job are you represent 120,000 people across, in this district, across 4 counties. And you serve them. I mean, when people have questions about government or how to work their way through, you know, whether it's trying to get some benefits that they may get or trying to understand who to contact, we are a point of call, and we like helping people sort their way through the state government. But I have probably done as much legislation, much legislative work, crafting other people's bills, working on other people's bills as a committee chairman or in the committee process as I have my own bills. So, you know, my fingerprints have been kind of all over. I like doing tax policy, as you know, and so my fingerprints have been all over the tax policy of the state for the last 12 years.
Okay. And if you are re-elected, what would be your major priorities?
We need to continue to do the things that got us to this point, lowering taxes, improving the business climate, making sure people have the workforce skills to compete for the jobs that are coming. So those things are certainly critically important. Now it's not about necessarily attracting, which was the first part of my career as a county commissioner and my things we worked on as initially in the legislature. Now it's about managing that growth, you know, helping workforce develop, you know, making sure that we have the things in place to make sure that the growth is well managed, well taken care of, and that's working with locally elected officials and others.
What do you see as the major challenges?
In spite of all the great things we've got and the opportunities for people, we still have a drug problem that has to be continued to be fought. Property taxes are a tremendous burden. While we got our income tax in a better spot, our property tax situation is just a nightmare right now that's got to be addressed. You know, I have a friend who sits on top of a hillside over here. Think about Bell Manor. If you've been to Bell Manor, that incredible facility. If you could work and live anywhere in the world, and many of these jobs today you can, why wouldn't you want to live in Ross County or Pike County or Highland County or Fayette County with those views? But to do that, you have to have internet access. So we need more broadband. So those are some quick things.
So the final question is, why should voters support you?
Certainly, I'm experienced. I've done the job. I have the same passion, desire that I did, you know, when I first started. It's about, you know, back then it was about making sure my children had a future in Ohio. They all do. They all are living, working, growing families in Ohio. And now it's about making sure my grandchildren, your grandchildren, and everybody's grandchildren have an opportunity. And, you know, I know all the players on both sides of the aisle. Most of them, I have their cell phone numbers in my phone, so it's easy for me to pick up and make a call. I know all the local elected officials, and I'm committed to helping them. And it's really about serving you and making sure that the next generation has a future here in Ohio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Thank you. My pleasure.